Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Workplace Wisdom. Welcome, everyone. If you're joining, I'd like to have you tell us where you're joining in from. Workplace Wisdom is a monthly program where we come to give wisdom to people about how to succeed in the workplace. And I'm always excited to be here because it's always a great time having people here. So you're welcome. Um, Again, my name is Enahoro Okhae. I'm leading the team at Post Factory as CEO, and I've got a great team um, working with me to ensure that we build the workplace. Yes, we're very big on emotional intelligence, and we bring it into everything that we do. But this show in particular is actually about the wisdom to succeed in the workplace. And so we've had various topics. The last one is that your work is not worth your health. That was the last show we had. The other one is sexual harassment in the workplace. And I thought that that was a very good show. So every month we come together. Good to see you, Pius. If you're just coming in, let us know where you're logging in from and tell us how you feel today. Let us know where you're logging in from and tell us how you feel today. Excited to have you. Excited to have everyone. Tell us where you're logging in from, everyone, as you're coming into the show. We are looking forward to having everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we're discussing a very, very important topic. Um, I've looked forward to discussing this topic for a long time. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it comes to the reason why you work. So tell me, what's the reason you go to work really? You know, Piles, GIG Mobility, Abuja. Yeah, those are my GIG people. I wear two caps. I can't help myself. And good to have you. Good to have you, Piles. If you're coming in, please join us. Join us by telling us where you're logging in from. It's a 1 hour show, so we don't have a lot of time for the introduction. So just quickly tell us where you're coming in from. We have only one person who has said where they're logging in from. All right. And tell people that it is time. Bring everybody on board. Bring everybody on board. Bring everyone on board. If you are in any of our community, whether it is EICP, EICC, any of the community, please just drop it there. If you are in GIG, drop it there and tell people it's time for the show. And if you're logged in, I see quite a number of people logged in. Please go to the chat and tell us where you're logging in from. If you cannot write in the chat, it means that you're not subscribed to our channel. It's important that you subscribe to our channel. So please do that. Do that, and let's get the show started. We have one of our guests in the house already. And I know that he's ready for us. So can we have more? As you're coming in, I have a question for you. It's a very powerful question. Do you agree that your employer is not responsible for your wealth? Do you agree that your employer is not responsible for your wealth? Do you agree that your employer is not responsible for your wealth? Do you agree that your employer is not responsible for your wealth? I'd like to get answers. The first question, do you agree your employer is not responsible for your wealth? Good to have you, Doc. I will bring you in on stage our speakers in a minute. Do you agree that your employer is not responsible for your wealth? All right. So I'm going to be bringing up our first speaker. Um, great stuff. Just want to move behind a bit so that we can see your face before I bring you up. All right. So bring up is the male, so that allow the dog to get ready. So let me introduce him officially. Ben has been my guy, my friend since the university days. So let me see, how many years is that? Probably since 2004, 2003, I guess. And this 24, about 20 years. Oh my, 20 years. Yeah, so I have a question for everybody. Apart from telling us where you're logging in from, do you agree that your employer is not responsible, right? And so I've known Seun Aduroja, Benjamin Aduroja, I call him Seun, for about 20 years now. He's a premier financial consultant for C-suite executives, a global financial consultant, global wealth advisor. He's an author and a renowned speaker. He's the MD and CEO of Cutting Edge Partners, and is the author of the book Funding Your Dreams. He's been in so many programs and so many trainings that I don't want to bore you with today. But what is clear is that he's been going from organization to organization, helping several people to build wealth and giving them great advices about their wealth. And so everybody help me welcome my friend and brother, Benjamin Aduroja. Benjamin Aduroja, can you say hello so that I'm sure we can...
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this show. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. Doc, I would like you to share back a bit, or push your laptop back a bit so that we can see your head as we call you in. Yeah, if you can then go to the middle of the screen a bit, that would work. I see Olabumi Olashire, we spoke earlier today and you said you're going to be around. Thank you for showing up. All right, again, if you're here telling us where you're logging in from, and let me bring in the lady of the house. So Dr. Fola Rogers is somebody I respect so much, and I've had a privilege of doing business with her. Just to say that we run a company together. We co-found the Global Stats and Strategy. Dr. Fola is a business development consultant, emotional intelligence and support specialist. She's a trauma coach, and she's got 30 years experience in her belt in business development, counseling, psychology, HR, educational consultant, and all of that. She has a PhD, so we're talking to doctor, which she's got a PhD in education and counseling psychology from the University of Ibadan. She has she's got a BSc in education too. So we've got a teacher here, really. Postgraduate from University of Derby, UK, certificate in international health consulting, KPI professional, like I am, KPI practitioner from the KPI Institute in Australia, an emotional intelligence certified professional. I mean, I can go on and on and on. She's the co-founder, Triple Passion Home. He's been the business development director for maternal health. I mean, so much. We can continue to talk about Dr. Fola. I respect her so much, and I love her passion. By the way, Dr. Fola has also just gotten a new certification. And I said to her, "Man, you don't get tired, do you?" So, Dr. Fola, you want to go that way? Exactly. Can we hear your voice to be sure that we can hear you clearly?
Yeah, thank you very much, Enahoro. I am really happy
Good
and
to have
glad
you.
and excited, like Mr. Aduroja, to be here. I always love
All
your
right.
programs. Thank you.
Again, I still want you to adjust a bit so that you can be in the middle of the screen and then go back a bit.
Sorry,
Exactly.
my problem
Yes.
is
Yes.
I'm using my iPad because my computer is playing off, but I'm just trying to use my iPad. Is
All
it
right. So
okay
we
now?
got a big question in front of us. Um. Okay. Yeah, we're good now. Very good. Very
Okay.
good. If you shift back a
Yes.
little, it will be better instead of leaning in. Right? It's better when you shift back a little. Exactly. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. We're good.
Yeah.
So we're going to be starting with you, Doc. I hope you're settled in because
Yes.
of your years of experience, 30 plus years of experience. Is it true that the employer is not responsible for the wealth of the employee? Is it true?
Well, it's very, very true. To start with, I agree with that notion that employers are no more responsible for growing the wealth of employees. Now, let us look at the days of pension, the days of pension plans and other
Yeah,
benefits.
I'll
That
come
is,
back to the other questions, but I just want to find out if you agree. Is it true? So that we
yes,
can establish that knowledge.
yes, I agree. I agree firmly and positively that employers are not responsible for wealth growing of their employees.
For the wealth of the employee. Again, I'd like
Yes.
you to exactly. This is how I like you to stay. Back a bit, back a bit. That exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you want to stay like that. So let's go to Benjamin Aduroja. Do you see that the employer is not? I'm an employer. Is not responsible for the wealth of the employee. Do you agree? From a professional standpoint.
From the professional point of view, I would say to a very large extent, yes. To a very large extent, yes, the employer is not responsible for the wealth of the employee. However, I have a little addition in that it depends on how the employee plays his game. I'm
I'm
not
going
of
to
the
come
school
back
of
to that.
oh,
Let's just establish that first. I'm going to come back to
okay.
that. So it depends, right? And doctor also has something to say.
Yes.
Um, if you're listening in, I want you to go to the chat. Do you agree that the employer is not responsible for the wealth of the employee? Yes or no? Do you agree? I'd like you to go from that perspective. For everybody that's in the house, please go to your chat and let us know if you agree or not. And we really need to see your chat. Okay? If you cannot chat, it means that you're not subscribed to the channel. I would advise that you subscribe. So Pius said no. Pius does not agree that the employer is not responsible of the employee. Isaiah say Ishaba say I agree. BC says 50-50%. Here and there, 50%. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. But let me quickly establish, when we say wealth, what are we looking at really? We're looking at your financial assets, which combines your money, your physical possession, and every other thing in your life that you can quickly turn into money. How much of it do you have? How much have you been able to put?
No more, no sound.
I'm going to say it at the end of the day, whether I agree or not. All right. So I'm just going to listen to you. So, Doc, the first question I'm going to ask you is based on your experience, do you think that the perception of employer being responsible for the wealth of their employee is changing over the years? Do you think so?
Well, I believe so. I believe so that the perception is shifting gradually. It's a continuous thing and it's shifting. In the days
Okay.
of the traditional pension plans and other benefits,
Hmm.
do you know that employees relied so much on what the employers can provide for their
Hmm.
financial well-being?
Hmm.
The reality today is that they need to take ownership of their financial futures. Number one, today the emphasis is on personal financial planning,
Hmm.
personal investments, retirement, planning.
Hmm.
So I want to ask, what are the factors responsible for this shift in perception?
Powerful question. Yeah. What are they?
Now, there are changes in employer-sponsored benefits. There is global economy turning into recession everywhere, which
Hmm.
is affecting benefit packages.
Hmm.
Look at our country, Nigeria. We're struggling to fix minimum wage. Where is this going to take? What can the employees get from this kind of struggle?
Hmm.
Now, how many organizations can sponsor staff to study abroad as it used to be in those days?
It doesn't happen anymore.
Okay. Or even traveling for a short course. Even let's look at just going to a nearby country like Ghana. How many
Hmm.
organizations can make that happen? There is rising awareness of the importance of financial literacy amongst the workers. So, employees are now very proactive in
Hmm.
seeking financial advice.
Hmm.
Of course, every organization has their HR, and there is always someone to support to provide necessary information. Now, they practically invest in their own education. Like I said, there's nobody to sponsor them like before. They
Hmm.
invest in their own education and training. For instance, a lot of staff, behind the closed doors, would want to do IT certification because they
Hmm.
know that that is the trend, that is the current thing. Maybe that will help them in moving to another organization to work. Maybe that will even enhance, their own productivity where they are at the moment,
Hmm.
so that they can take care of their financial future.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much. So what I hear you say is that things are changing. And the perfect example you gave is before now, everybody used to wait for the pension that is coming from the government.
Yes.
So they depend on the employer because the employer is paying the pension, right, or government. But what is happening now is that we are doing it together. So the employee is paying a part, and then the employer is paying a part, and that is a sign that the employer is saying, "I'm not responsible for your wealth." Let me go to Aduroja. Um, what's the question I'm going to ask you? Why is it important for employees to take personal responsibility of their wealth rather than depending on the employer? Now you have to be very careful with this question because some employees are going to be with some employers for 20 years, 30 years of their lives. And here we are saying that the employer is not responsible. I think that the reason why a BC or a Pius would, BC agrees, disagrees 50-50, Pius says no. I think that it is because um, I'm spending a lot of my years here. How can you say you're not responsible? You pay me salary, right? And then you say you're not responsible. If you pay me a lot, then I will have a lot. If you pay me small, then I will have small. Why do you think, in your perception, Benjamin, that it is important for employees to take responsibility of their own wealth rather than depend on the employer? Why do you think so?
Thank you so much for that very apt question. Remember when you asked whether I believed if the employer was not responsible for the wealth of the employee, I said
Mm,
to a large extent that it's true.
mm,
Now, let me quickly uh, do a deep dive into what I meant by that. First, the employer has a role, a very key role to play in the life, in the finances, in the financial well-being of the employee, because he or she works for the employer, and the employer pays him or her for the value or she brings to the company, to the organization. Now, let me look at it from the standpoint of the employee. The employee must have this consciousness that nobody owes me anything. That consciousness must be there. Nobody owes me anything. I am fully responsible.
You want to cause problem, oh? Employers owe employees salary.
Yes.
Nobody owes anything.
I am saying that consciousness is very important. On the part, I've said on the part of the employer, he or she, the employer has a stake, is a stakeholder, is a major stakeholder in the financial well-being of the employee. That is already agreed. However, on the other side is the employee himself or herself. He or she must sustain that consciousness that nobody owes me anything. The most the employer can do is to help build the foundation for your financial well-being. You, as the employee, are fully responsible to build on that foundation. And what you build on that foundation will determine your, well-being in the long run. Now, the key issue is that...
Sorry, before you go on, just repeat what you said. You mean the employer is a stakeholder and helps to build a foundation. What is that foundation that the employee will not build upon? What is the foundation?
The foundation is, number one, that contributing pension scheme. That contributing pension scheme, that is a very important foundation for the financial, the long-term financial well-being of the employee. Then the second one is the salary, the income.
Monthly. So let's take it gradually. So you mean the salary, the contributory pension, those are foundations.
They are very, very important foundations.
Doing well. Just foundations, right? What else comes to mind?
Now, the next thing that comes to mind is of course, the other benefits that come to play. For example, the health scheme and all that for the employees to take care of the, for the immediate family of the. That's a very important implement in the financial well-being. So all of these things give the employee the succor to now think, ahead, to start thinking ahead, because the employee must not get comfortable. I'm talking generally now, using normally this is what's supposed to be, because although in certain instances some of these things do not come to play, but let's assume that all things being equal, the employee gets these benefits from the employer, and he or she cannot fully depend on that. They are necessary conditions, but they are not sufficient for the financial well-being. Yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to come back to take it there from you. But what you have established, and then I'm going to go to doctor. What you have established is that there's a foundation that needs to be built, right?
Yes.
And that is from the employer. Example, the employer must consistently pay the salaries of the employee, right?
Yes. Yes.
The employer must also ensure that there's a pension scheme going on for the employee, right?
Yes.
So those are foundation and other benefits, right? So when you're building a house, like you're building your financial assets, house, so you build a foundation. Now, we now need to do so much on the foundation, and I'm going to come back to you there. Doctor, you've got a lot of experience, and I'm kind of close a bit to you. I am aware of a level of success that you enjoy. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. I mean, your children, they are, different parts of the world. You have become a grandma. I know that you're traveling, very soon, in a matter of days. You go to UK and you come back like you're going to Badagry or you're going to Shomolu and you're coming back. You understand? And I'm aware of some level of assets that you have going. I have a peek into your growth, some stories. on how you grew. You understand? I mean, in the labor market. I want to ask, right? Um, what are what are some of the things that you did as a young employee working and earning salary that has helped you to build this life where even in your retirement age, we are still on YouTube together discussing. You have just finished the course and then you're traveling and you're coming back. And I believe that there's a level of peace you are enjoying, especially financially. You know, I know that you might not have it all, but I mean, there's a level of comfort. What are some of the major, and I know you would have done a lot of things, what are some of the major things you did, you know, in your career life that has helped you to be on this status that you can share with us, like from your heart?
Thank you very much, Enahoro. I think I have to quickly delve into my early years. You know, I am someone who had known where I was going from when I was young. I had cousins who were in the medical school, who were teachers, and incidentally, I always wanted to be a teacher. But I thought in my mind that to be a teacher, I would have to do that at a very high level. So, as early as I was a teenager, I wanted to hold a PhD in education so that I would command the respect that doctors are commanding, engineers, and so on and so forth. And
Doc, I want to stop you there. Sorry. I hope you don't lose your thoughts because the real knowledge is inside the discussion. So right from your early age, you have decided that you want to be a teacher. So you know where you were going, and that is self-awareness. You know, when we talk about self-awareness, a lot of people don't know it's very powerful. That's number one. Number two, you had a vision that even though I want to be a teacher, I want to be a teacher at the highest level, right? So that you'll be able to command certain things in your life. And that is far, far at the beginning of your career. So if you are listening here, see, if you want to build a financial wealth that spans, you know, to your retirement age, you need to know what you are doing right now. You need to be sure where you are going. You need to be sure what level you want to get to. So it's not about chasing the money first. It's about having a vision first. It's having a vision that ties to your financial well-being and the financial status you want to have in the future. And that's what Doc did. Are we getting it? Doc, please continue. I want to be taking the learnings away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then another thing is the entrepreneurial spirit, which had always been in me. I'll just take it from when I was having my youth service. And I had one of the members of staff. I was teaching in St. Teresa's College, Ibadan. And I noticed that she would bring eggs to the staff room to sell to people. I called her and said, see, I want to do business of eggs. How do I go about it? And I also had a friend, you know, who were developing together. Our life stories had been together. So we joined hands. We started selling eggs. And from the sale of eggs, I bought my first car. Right.
Doc, hold on. So you bought your first car, not with your salary, but with a side hustle.
Yes, definitely.
With sale of egg, even though you were a teacher. Now, there's a deep lesson from that. And it means that there's something else you can be doing, right? Even though you are a teacher and your first car was bought from the side hustle, not from the work in itself.
Absolutely.
And that's very instructive, everyone. Very, very instructive. Let me ask in the group chat, do you have time for side hustle as an employee? Do you have time for side hustle? Because Doc said she bought her first car with her side hustle, not with her salary. Doc, please continue. I'm enjoying your story.
And I think another thing that would interest you is that I got married when I was in the second year of university. So I had a child.
Oh, wow.
I was in marriage. I was a student, and I was doing, you know, very well in school. By the time I finished my youth corps, I knew I had to go in for my master's. I did that, and immediately, even in between that, when I was doing my master's, my story is, as I was studying, I was having children, and I have 5 children. So you can imagine, after youth service, after my master's, after my PhD, each time with a child on my hands, you know.
Wow.
So, yes.
That sounds like hard work.
Thank you.
Sounds like hard work.
And also, as I said, that I always wanted to get to the top of my career. By the time I was finishing my PhD, in the department, our professor called to say they were looking for someone to be a consultant in a school in Lagos, ABC Nurseryland. And I got that, and I relocated to Lagos, and that was the beginning of many good things to happen to me.
I'm going to stop you there. That was the beginning of many good things that you will still tell us. But the learning is that for you to be called and say there's an opportunity for consultant upon which many good things happened, you laid a foundation. And the foundation is not the foundation of workplace. It was value. Value. So you finish your university, you quickly did your master's and whatever it is you did, and that placed value in front of you. And that is so powerful, right? Because at the end of the day, what value? And I tell people a lot. I say money follows the value that you have. If you want to have more money, you don't sweat more, quote and unquote. You build more value. The more value you have, the more money will follow you. The more value you have, the more money will follow you. And I've said it a million times. I'm going to come back to you, Doc. Benjamin Aduroja, you are a financial consultant. You teach a lot of people about finance and growing wealth and all of that. What would be the first steps employees should take in managing their finances if they want to have a good financial life with wealth? You understand? What is the first set of things they need to do? So imagine an employer who is getting salary, hustling, trying to get married, taking care of children, salary every 30 days, and all of that. What should the person be? Of things, what would they be?
Okay, thank you so much for that very important question. Let me start from where Dr. stopped. It starts from vision, like I said, like she said, and you were corroborated. It starts from vision. Where are you going? It starts from that. Where are you going? Having, clarified your vision, having gained clarity on where you are going in the long run, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, then you come back to the beginning, and then you create plans, you create financial plans. Now, what I tell my clients mostly is the first thing to do is set up an emergency fund. Set up an emergency fund. That is very critical. What is an emergency fund? Yes.
When there are bills to pay, there's school fees, there is transport. I mean, there are all those bills to pay. And then you're talking about emergency fund. How truthful, how real is this thing that you're saying? Because there are bills and it is real.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, agreed. There are obligations here and there. But the truth remains that if you don't save now, if you don't cultivate the discipline to set something at no matter how small it is. Now, I do not subscribe to the idea of a 10%, 20%. What if you can't afford 10%? What if it's just 1% you can afford to save for now? Set that aside. If it's 2%, if it's 3%, set that aside. The idea is building up an emergency fund. An emergency fund, let's assume your cost of living per month, assumption is 300,000 naira per month. What you want to do is to set up 6 months. 6 months, that's 1.8 million. You want to set it aside in an emergency fund. Now,
always have 6 months of your salary set aside as emergency
very
fund.
important.
Somebody should write
Very
that down for
important.
me. Always
Very
have
important.
6 months of your salary.
Yes.
Wow. And you don't, it's not like having it at once. It's like building it over time, gradually.
Building it, yes. Yes.
What do you think stop people from achieving this thing that you're talking about now?
Well, the inability to delay gravitation, of the inability to delay gravitation, something like that. The inability to
Gratification.
yes, not be able to discipline yourself. There are certain things that are not your needs. They may be your wants. Focus on your needs part time, especially in such a time as this. Food and all that, transportation and all of these other things. Focus on those. Set something aside for that. And then what I advise is, before you even set up, before you even do some kind of allocation of your stuff for your different needs, set aside that emergency fund. That should be your first priority. If it's 2%, if it's 5%, set it aside first. It's like you are paying yourself first. That is very important. And what I advise salary earners is, do automation. Let it be automated, so that anytime the salary hits your salary account, yes, the figure, the amount is automatically deducted from your account to a separate account that I would advise to be a target savings account that you cannot touch. For a period of time.
So you've said a few things. You've said emergency funds. You've advised that you do it automatic. You've said that inability to delay gratification, the enjoyment you want now, will delay people. And you said that savings, that emergency fund, is the baseline. And you said it's about the 6 months somewhere, right? Can you add one or two other things to those first set of things? Then I'll bring Doc up.
That is the first step. First step. I won't set up that emergency fund. The next best thing is to start saving. In fact, what I advise, this may be, I would say this is my own approach is somewhat aggressive. Aggressive savings. For example, on a personal level, I have 4 different savings accounts. 4 different savings accounts. The first one, anytime I get an income, the first thing is that emergency fund. Then the second one is,
you have 4 different savings accounts. You see,
4 different.
Benjamin, I will just hear that you have built 5 houses, and I will not know that these are the kind of things you are doing. 4 different savings accounts. Why do you have 4 savings accounts?
I said earlier that nobody owes me anything. That should be our consciousness. As an employee, nobody owes you anything. Of course, the employer is paying his own, but don't bank on that. Take full responsibility for your long-term financial well-being. Yes, that consciousness is very important. Nobody owes me anything. I'm 100% responsible for my financial well-being.
You know what? I'd like to go into your personal life a bit. Yes. So 4 savings accounts. Can you explain them for us? Then I'll go to them.
So anytime I get an income, I'm not a salary and I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. So anytime an income comes in and I have my own personal income, the first thing is, of course, I pay my tithe. I believe in tithe. That's aside. Then the first savings account is my emergency fund, is my Eco Bank account. It has a certain percentage. So I have done allocation. So you need to do an allocation. This percentage for so and so, this percentage for so and so. So for me, 5% of my income goes straight to my emergency fund. Another 5% goes to my housing fund. Like you said, I'm building a house. My housing fund. Another 5% goes to education fund for my children. Another 5% goes to investment fund.
Hold on. So you have emergency fund, housing fund,
Yes.
children fund,
Yes.
and
Education
then
fund. Children education fund.
children education fund, and then
Yes.
investment fund.
Yes.
My
Yes.
oh my. Let me
That's
check.
very
How much
important.
does that do I have? All right. If you know you have these four in your life: emergency fund, children education fund, um, investment fund, and which one again? What's the fourth one?
The I just talked about, okay, emergency fund.
Oh, investment fund.
Yes, investment fund. Yes.
Emergency investment children housing fund. You mean this is consistent in your life?
Consistent. Every single income that comes in.
This requires a lot of discipline, Benjamin.
Yes. That's why I said
I'm
vision.
going to come back to ask about discipline.
Vision.
So,
Yes.
from where we are now, let me ask you. You would have a lot of experience with people that you grew up with. I heard you said that you have cousins. You understand, and all of that. Again, I'd like to remind you to move back a bit so that your video will be clear. Thank you, Doc. Sorry for disturbing. Now, can you share some financial mistakes you have seen people, your colleagues, people in your life, people in your environment, some financial mistakes they made that you know that if these people didn't do all of these mistakes, their financial life would be more stable today. Can you share any of such?
Well, yes. Thank you. Some of the financial mistakes, I would say the most important one is lack of financial planning. Lack of financial planning. A lot of people would not plan very well. How many people would face up to what Benjamin just enumerates just now? You know? Now, that would lead to poor budgeting or no budget at all. For me, something similar to these emergency funds is the target savings that I used to do. When I wanted to do something and I have good people or colleagues around me, we come together, we make monthly contribution, you know when to take yours, but you've got to do that with trusted people. And then that is target savings, towards something significant that you want to do. But a lot of people, other mistakes will be debts. They are always in debt because the cash flow is mismanaged. Right. So that's another one. And then some of these people will not have savings at all, or they will start late to start saving. Now, like you said, the emergency funds, how many people can even budget for that? Like I have enumerated that. I mean, you can target savings, you can save for the rainy day, which is what Benjamin is doing. Now, some people are investing unwisely. I think I fell victim of that some time ago when I joined the bandwagon effect of pyramid myth. They will tell you, oh, if you bring this, if you bring that. So that is wrong investment. People can invest unwisely, and also not able to review the financial plan regularly. That is if they even have the plan. So if you do, based on the trend, on what is going on, look at Nigeria. What we used to buy at 10 naira is now 35 naira. This is the trend, How are you reviewing your planning? How do you prioritize what you want to spend on, and so on? Yeah.
Wow. So you've said some very powerful things, Doc, and I was writing them down. Number one, some people don't have financial planning. It means that they wake up every day, they go to work, they make money, they spend, they don't think. There's no thought going on. There's no thought about, financial plan. All of that is not going on. So some people don't think at all, right, or financial plan. That's number one. You said number two, that some people are in debt. And you experience people like this, Doc, right? Interesting. Number 3, you said a lot of people start late. But Doc, it's never too late, right?
No.
It's never
Definitely.
too late. So
Definitely.
based on this call, some people can get started.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you said some people invest unwisely. And I can imagine such. Let me go to Aduroja. What are some misconceptions, right? No, let me even ask, because you're a consultant. Financial education, right? How important is financial education in the midst of what we are saying now, Benjamin?
Financial education, as far as I'm concerned, is everything. It is everything. When I mean financial education, what I mean in essence is financial intelligence.
Financial
So
intelligence.
as we have, yes, we have different, grades. For example, we have the high Q, we have this, all that, and all that. But there's also what we call financial intelligence. That is how well you make decisions when it comes to finances. That's your financial intelligence quotient. So it can be measured. In fact, we have a test that I run for my clients. We call it personal health check. That personal health check helps the client to, it's like a diagnostic tool that enables the client to know the present state of his or her finances, and that ultimately gives him or her the helps him or her to measure his or her financial IQ. Now, it is very, very important to be very intentional about your financial education. Very, very intentional, because this will determine a lot of things. When, for example, now you are a salary earner, you are getting an income. What do you do with the income? You need to study, you need to think, you need to get books, get a lot of books, go for courses, engage financial coaches, because this will determine how well you make your financial decisions. So financial education is everything if you intend to build lasting wealth. It is everything. Thank you.
Wow. I'm going to be telling the HR, we need to invite you to come and give us some financial intelligence, financial education. That is very, I like the way you said it is everything. Like everything. The way you said it, it sent a message to me that what if a lot of people are not planning and not saving, right? Simply because they don't have financial education. And I keep saying value, value, value. Even financial education in itself is value. Value. So some people don't even know, what they can enjoy. So that's a promise. If the HRs are hearing right now, that's a promise. We're going to bring you in to come and give us some financial education, right? Let's go to Doctor. Doctor, let's talk about mindset, because at the end of the day, you see, everything comes back to mindset. Everything comes back to mindset. Doctor, you just growing up your career life, how does one's mindset and attitude towards money impact their ability to grow independently? I'd like you to speak to mindset, because I believe so much that mindset is a powerful thing. How does it help, Doctor?
Yes, like you said, mindset plays a pivotal role, in shaping your financial outcomes. Now, think about the goals you are setting and your targets. Think about your beliefs about money. Some Yorubas or some Yoruba adage will say, "Alejo lowo," meaning that wealth is just a visitor. It can come into your home today and it can disappear. But if you are taking that in as a mindset, then you are not going anywhere. Right. Now, your
Wow.
attitude towards wealth building strategies is also very important. Now, the bottom line is that your mindset significantly influence your ability to create and sustain wealth. Now, let's look at the power of positive thinking. Now, thinking positively is a powerful force in wealth creation. Now, and I would like to refer people to an article that I saw by Fiona Campbell. Fiona Campbell is she's talking about aspects of mindsets that if you look at your brain, okay, and then you also talk about behavior. Now, your behavior is influenced by the way you think.
Yeah.
This is the power of positive thinking we are talking about. Now, if you say, I don't want to struggle, she's saying that your focus will be on struggle. I don't want to go through financial struggle. As against,
So it's about struggle.
Financial struggle. So what she is professing is that it's better you talk about what you want to happen rather than saying what you don't want to happen. If you say, I have a career that provides me with a wealthy lifestyle and abundance, that is very positive. And that means your mindset is going to that positive side. Okay? Now, self-talk as well and encouraging yourself about what you want to happen, like I said, rather than what you don't want to happen is very, very, very crucial to sustaining financial growth. Okay?
Yes, please.
Yes. Now,
so mindset, I like, we teach these things in emotional intelligence, and it's just funny how it also comes to the place of finance. Rather than wake up every day and say to yourself, I don't want to struggle financially. I don't want to struggle financially. We're supposed to be saying, I am moving towards wealth. I'm building my wealth gradually. So that is the mindset that we are supposed to have to even get started in the first place. We're beginning to round up because it's just a 1 hour show and we don't want to keep people, right? So Benjamin, what are some misconceptions about employer provided retirement plan, and how should employee use, how should we treat those misconceptions, and what should employees do about it strategically, right? What's the misconception that people have about retirement plan?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the first basic misconception or mistake, let me use the word mistake, is abdication of responsibility. Abdication of responsibility for your financial well-being to the employer. That is a very, very serious issue that I've noticed even with many of my clients. For example, I went to some years back, I went to one of the leading chambers of commerce to meet with one of the executives, and she was telling me that she will be retiring in less than a year from that time, and that she only had, I'm saying this because sense of responsibility, she only had 100,000 naira in her savings account. So it automatically means that she had abdicated the responsibility for her well-being to the employer. Of course, she was depending on probably the entitlement, the other stuff that they would pay out, pay out the lump sum that they would pay out. And that is another issue. People think that, okay, when they get this lump sum, okay, I will now invest in a business. If you have not cultivated a growth mindset, let me divide the mindset. You talk about mindset. I want to talk about 3 ones that we need to cultivate quickly, as employees. The first one is what I call the growth mindset. You must keep growing. You must keep building capacity. The more you grow, the more you earn. That is keep cultivating your ability to generate surplus value. That is very important. Very, very critical. Yes. Then the second one that you need to cultivate is wealth consciousness. Wealth consciousness. See yourself as wealthy. That is very, very important.
See yourself as wealthy.
You are not going to be wealthy. You are not going to retire rich. You are already wealthy.
It's not your salary. Don't see your salary. See yourself as wealthy.
That's very important, because it's all about attention management. Your ability to manage your attention. What you focus on will determine what you get. That's what Dr. Fola Rogers was trying to explain. Your focus, management of your focus, focusing on what you want and not on what you don't want. That is very important. The first one is growth mindset. The second one is wealth consciousness. The third one, which is also very important, is that ability to what? To keep imagine. You see yourself evolving,
growing.
Yes, see yourself
growth, right?
It's very important. Yes, very important. So employees must not abdicate. That is a major problem. Abdication of that responsibility. Of course, the employer has a role to play, but you do not put all the responsibilities on them. That is
so. I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
Sorry, because I want you to answer a question, and we're going to be using that to round up. And I want you to pack the answer about growing wealth, and then we'll come to Doctor to ask for some advice. What would she have done better if she looked back to have made this time better? I mean, I know she's enjoying herself. But what are some of the things that she could have done better? But 5% is 5% is a little fraction. Kelechi asked that question, and Ishaba Ezekiah is also asking that question. 5% is a little fraction. Imagine 5% of 100,000 is 5,000 naira, right? I mean, Benjamin, how does one build wealth from keeping 5,000 naira monthly? Like, how does he accumulate to wealth? Where do we start from? Because these are the real issues. Somebody look at his salary, maybe 200,000 naira salary, and 5% is 10,000, and is wondering, so I've been keeping 10,000 for 1 year, and that's 120,000. Am I on my way to wealth? What can you advise?
Okay, thank you very much. That is another misconception, a major misconception. That idea that whatever you're setting aside is too small or too little. You need that vision. Where are you going? And then what you are now doing is taking baby steps. Don't trivialize the days of your little beginning. That 5% is just a start. What I advise is incremental savings. As you become more comfortable, as your income increases, then jack up your savings rate. You can jack it up to 10%. You can jack it up to 15%. So keep increasing it, but be consistent. That consistency is very critical. Ensuring that you are taking precept upon precept. I remember those words that Enahoro told me many years ago. Precept upon precept, line upon line. I haven't forgotten that. Just see them as baby steps towards your future, your preferable future, your wealthy self. You are just taking baby steps. And what it does for you is it serves as an encouragement. Another thing is, as I round off, when, for example, you don't have any money, maybe disposable cash, but when that thought of poverty wants to come, and you think about the savings you have set aside, that thought of the savings will drive away the poverty thought, and then you'll be able to attract more opportunities. So it does a lot for your psychology, it does a lot for your mentality, it does a lot to spoil you that I'm taking steps towards my wealthy self. I'm have taken full responsibility.
I hope you guys are hearing.
Yes,
You see,
I am taking
this
steps.
consistency thing, these baby steps, is what people don't want to do. People want to wear the best shirts. People want to eat the best food. They want to go to restaurant. They want to hammer. People want to show Instagram pictures that are beautiful. And you are saying they should take baby. I think that the problem is, guys, this is where the real problem is. If we don't follow, there's a protocol to everything. There's a protocol to having wealth. What we are discussing here, guys, is the protocol. You need to be able to manage your emotions. Your employer cannot make you wealthy. Your employer will pay your salary. That's their responsibility. Your employer should pay their benefits and should make it consistent. That is the responsibility of the employer. But the employer will pay 3 people the same salary for 1 year, and the 3 of them will be at different level of financial capacity. Why? Not because of the payment, but because of what they do with your money. I want everybody to realize here, there's a difference between the money you earn and what you do with your money. Earning money cannot grow your financial wealth. What you do with money is what will grow your financial wealth. And it's what you do with money consistently. If you're waiting for a big salary that is coming, you are like somebody that is waiting to be happy. There's no happiness anywhere. Be looking for it. It's not there. It's not anywhere. And if you want to hammer and you go and do something that is bad, that is illegal, and you are caught, you will lose everything. Are you getting it? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
I think back close for a bit. So this statement is, for me, is very, very important. There's a difference between earning salary and building wealth. One is simply a foundation. Can you confirm you can still hear me? One
Yes,
is simply a foundation, and the other is not just a foundation, but the other is what you build on it. How many of us are building on? How many of us are building on? Doc, I'm going to take your last take, and then we would have had a very, very wonderful program. Over to you, Doctor. Benjamin, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but Doc.
I think Doc is froze, and my video is also froze. So her mic is muted. Okay.
Okay. I got it.
All right. Sorry. Doc, last words.
I said I would take it from what Benjamin said, mentioned psychology, and you mentioned emotions. Right. So, to round off, I would say that people should reprogram their subconscious mind so that it can align with the financial aspiration, so that can align with their financial aspiration. They need to transform their finances. They need to learn about money management skills. One thing I have done in my life is to invest in myself so that I can gain necessary knowledge, right? I can gain experiences, right? So I am also giving it out to people that when you invest in yourself, you are investing in your future, you are investing in your family's future, you are investing in your children. I think I want to close with that.
Invest in yourself. Benjamin, your last words?
Yes, I would like to take a tour from Dr. Rogers. Everything starts and ends with your mindset. Everything starts and ends with your mindset. If you see yourself as poor and you are trying to become wealthy, it's just like it's an effort in futility. You are taking first 1 step forward and 10 steps backward. So you need to reprogram your consciousness, There are certain tools you can use that will help our clients with to reprogram their consciousness. When you start when you begin to see yourself as wealthy, you realize that you start gravitating towards those things. Those things that you were aiming for start gravitating towards you. So take responsibility for your mindset. Keep investing in yourself. Keep building capacity to add value on the global standards, and you will realize that the resources, the money, everything you desire will start gravitating towards you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And my last words, can you confirm you can hear me? My last
Yes,
word
you can.
would be,
Yes.
Your salary is just a foundation. Looking at what Benjamin has said, there's a difference between earning salary and building wealth. Earning salary is the responsibility. Your salary is the responsibility of your employer. What you do with your salary is your own responsibility. Salary is a foundation. It does not build wealth. What you do on the foundation, which is your day-to-day action, decision-making about finance, is what builds you wealth. And the last one would be, value is the most important thing when it comes to build wealth. Go and continuously increase your value. The more value you have as a person, the more wealth you will build. It's been a great show, Doc. It's been a great show, Benjamin. Thank you very, very much for bringing us this lovely knowledge. I'm very, very grateful. Everybody, please help me say thank you to Dr. Fola Rogers and to Benjamin Aduroja for a great time. Let me say a big thank you. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes.
You can
Yes,
still hear me,
please.
Doc. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate the time. And I want to say thank you to everybody who was part of the show. I hope that you have learned something very important. If you think somebody else needs to hear everything that we're saying today, share the link with them. It's going to be there. The reason we do this is to keep giving people wisdom to successfully meander the workplace. And the workplace is not an easy place to meander successfully. But if you continuously come for workplace wisdom, sure, you would continuously get the knowledge that you need. Until I see you next month for another powerful episode of Workplace Wisdom Show. Thank you very much. Keep practicing emotional intelligence and go and grow your financial intelligence. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.